After a couple of quieter weeks over the summer, Moor Farm is starting to get busy again. The first team have reported back for pre-season training. The under-18s and under-21s have been back for a couple of weeks now already. And tonight is the first session back for Derby County's under-16s. This group have set a very high standard for themselves after last season's success.
So for the under-15s, it's quite a unique programme. So it's the only age group that will play on a Tuesday evening rather than weekend games. So through the youth development phase, they get exposed to obviously the Floodlit League, but all their games are played under the lights. And then also they get the opportunity to be playing at sort of non-league grounds. So they get an amazing exposure to really positive opportunities. Obviously all the other age groups from under 9s through to under 16s, they'll play just a general morning on a Saturday or Sunday. So that's how the programme works with regards to the opportunity that they get with it and the importance of it. The under-15s Floodlit Cup really is, for the age group, is like the FA Cup or the FA Youth Cup for the under-18s.
Tell me about this group. How long have you been together? How well do you all get on?
We get on very well. Yeah, some funny people. Being together about, I don't know, some people join in, but maybe like 3-4 years together. We used to be a quiet group, but we're getting up to there now.
Yes, the under-15s, as they were last season, got the better of some of the best youth programmes in the country en route to the final of the under-15s Floodlit Cup. They're the first Rams side to do that since the class of 2017. That team included the likes of Erin Cashin, Liam Thompson and Louis Sibley. The initial group stage saw Derby up against West Brom, Coventry and local rivals Leicester City. The young Rams finished top with a record of 3 wins and 2 draws for 11 points. That included beating Leicester home and away, including a 3-0 win here at the training centre. That all gave Derby home advantage for their quarter-final group, meaning 2 matches here at Moor Farm and just 1 on the road. A defeat to Arsenal was followed by victory over Fulham, a comfortable 3-0 win. That all meant the pressure was on for the trip to Crystal Palace. A win would see the Rams top the group and go into the semi-finals. And win is exactly what they did, but only after going 1-0 down and then surviving a penalty scare thanks to a fine save from goalkeeper Charlie Hardy. Zane Blake scored twice to seal a 2-1 win and the place in the final 4.
It's amazing, sort of from the regional point of view, that they got to play still top teams. So you're playing Leicester City, Coventry and West Brom. So really, last season, they're championship clubs and top championship clubs. So they've got an amazing opportunity to play against top academies and top clubs. So to come through that and win our group was really positive. And then obviously beyond that, we've ended up playing, we had another group which we got put into, which was Arsenal, Crystal Palace and Fulham. So you're against 3 of the top academies from the London area. And again, we had a tough first half against Arsenal, to be fair. I think we showed them way too much respect and we were 2-0 down at half-time. And then after that, when the boys actually realised we can compete, we pulled it back 2-1. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to get a positive result, but the performance was fantastic. And then that put us in a difficult position to try and get through the group stage, but we totally dominated the game from start to finish against Fulham in the next game, and we won 3-0 after that, which then led to a final game away at Crystal Palace, which was whoever won the game went through. So to go away and perform the way they did, and I'm not saying the football and the principles that we've been coaching were necessarily there, but the grit and the experience for the players where they need to go and win a game, which they don't get exposed to that often at that age. There's quite a lot of friendlies and quite a lot of non-competitive games. So to actually have to go up, turn up, and you've got parents on the side cheering and and crowds got quite big towards the end. Again, it's quite intimidating for lads of sort of 14 years old, and we were playing under 14s with us as well. So you're playing lads up who might only be 13 and getting exposed to that type of pressure. It's an amazing experience for them.
The semi-final saw Derby welcome Southampton to Moor Farm. the Rams dominated from minute 1. A hat-trick from Charlie Smith, including a free kick and a penalty, and 2 goals from substitute Ronnie Hewitt helped Derby run out 5-1 winners. That put Derby in the final, at home to Chelsea. A tricky opening 20 minutes saw Derby go 2-0 down, though they got back in the game through George Stokes right at the end of the first half. A couple more quick goals saw Chelsea move into a 3-goal lead before Derby clawed their way back to 4-3 with 20 minutes to go. Casey Gill and Kieran Clark with those goals. The Rams were desperate for an equaliser, but the visitors scored next with a sucker punch on the break. Derby did make it 5-4 in the final minute through Zach Moore, but ultimately had to settle for the runners-up spot.
When you get to the semi-final of a competition, it's every team that you're playing against, and the further you go, you're coming against the better oppositions. And look, Southampton caused us problems at certain times, and I think actually from memory of the game, we were actually disappointed with the way that we'd played. Some of the style of play and trying to play through the thirds and breaking the lines didn't really come off as much as we'd have hoped. So actually, it was a strange feeling because we had only a week before where we'd beat Crystal Palace, and the boys were sort of over the moon with the way that they'd played and the performance. Then we play again in the semi-final and you win 5-1, and you'd think you'd come away from that really like buzzing and ready to go into the final. The lads were actually disappointed with the performances, and there was no massive celebration even though you'd got to the final of a competition. So I think that shows the levels and the standards that they'd set and the expectations they had of themselves. So that for me as a coach was like, this is a top team and a top group, because despite winning 5-1 and making it look relatively simple in a semi-final, you're actually still going, we can be better than this, and you're going to have to be when you play a team like Chelsea in the final.
Very high, some bits, in possession very good, and getting after the ball, and keeping the ball as well when we're 3 or whatever the score was, 3-0 up, just keep going and not give them any energy to get back in the game.
And tell me about the final, tell us about the final. I know you're disappointed with the result, but at Pride Park, 1,000 fans, I mean, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing experience. But unlucky on the result, but we did try our hardest and get back in the game, but unlucky result.
The boys were absolutely fantastic, and again, a little bit like I spoke about the Arsenal game, I think, was it the whole playing at Pride Park against Chelsea, was it a little bit intimidating for some of the boys? There was over 1,000 people there watching, which they're definitely not used to at that age. It's a little bit different than just turning up to Moor Farm and playing your games here every Tuesday evening. So I think there's a little bit of an intimidating factor to it. And again, you're playing Chelsea, which, let's be honest, they're probably the best academy up there in the world, not necessarily just in England. So to have to compete and play against that was difficult, and I think we showed them too much respect. And again, we found ourselves 2-0 down very early because of that. But then once the boys realised we're going to have to go after these and give a little bit, we gave absolutely everything. And if I'm honest, we really rocked Chelsea for large amounts of the game. And it was just unfortunate that in the last minute of the game we had our goalkeeper up for corners and things, and it felt like a real cup competition. It was just a shame that we couldn't bundle anything back into the goal with 2 minutes left, and unfortunately we lost 5-4, which, look, an amazing achievement for the group of players, and to take a club like that all the way, I couldn't have been prouder, and like I say, the word proud really of the boys, because it had been a really long, grueling season of playing competition games all the way through, and yeah, we just fell short at the end. But do you know what? To compare yourselves against those types of academies, I think it shows where this club is at right now.
A great achievement for these young Rams, and an exciting season ahead for them as they step up to under 16 level. We'll be keeping an eye on them for you.